This German city of Munich is celebrating 50 years since it last hosted the Olympic Games. Welcome to Munich and welcome to the European Archery Championships of 2022. What a brilliant view we have of this venue right in the heart of the city. We're here for the European Archery Championships on Recurve Sunday. Well, that gives you a good overview of what it takes to put on an outdoor archery tournament in a bustling city here in Bavaria. This is what they're all aiming at, and the conditions are very good for some high-scoring archery after a week of qualification where it did nothing but howl with wind and pour with rain. The conditions are almost perfect for archery. Well, Lady Bavaria stands over this venue as we take a look at what we've got to look forward to in our second session on Recurve Sunday. We've got the mixed team medal matches, followed by the all-important women and men's individual bronze and gold medal matches. A packed out afternoon here in Munich. We're going straight into how the teams got to this stage of the competition in the mixed team competition. Germany coming through the top of the order will face the Netherlands in the final. The losing semi-finalists are up first though. We'll see Italy take on Ukraine. I'm Karim Bashir and it's my great pleasure to welcome back to the commentary box Olympian from Holland, Chef Vandenberg. Chef, are you excited as I am?
Yeah, maybe even more so. I'm really looking forward to seeing some high-class archery on today's afternoon.
Yeah, it's going to be a thriller. Starting with the bronze medal match. We have the Italians coming out onto the field of play, being led out by Ukraine. A special moment for them at these championships, featuring in the medal stages. I think it's fair to say that all the neutrals here will be supporting the Ukrainian pair. But boy, they've got a task on their hands, haven't they, with Nespoli and Andrioli on the Italian side.
Yeah, earlier today we've seen Nespoli win gold in the team matches, and yeah, Italy is always a force to be reckoned with.
Target number 1, representing Italy, Tatiana Andreoli and Mauro Nespoli. On target number 2, representing Ukraine, Anastasia Pavlova and Alexei Hubin. The line judge for this match is Sabrina Stephens.
Right, well, little panic over thanks to the fact that Chef is here. The stadium announcer called out Pavlova on the Ukrainian team. It is actually Veronika Marchenko who's lining up with Alexei Hunbin, Tatiana Andrioli and Mauro Nespoli on the Italian side of the line. Thanks, Chef. I nearly had a little bit of a flutter there.
Yeah, I noticed.
Go for gold. Thank you, Munich.
Bronze medal up for grabs here in the Recurve mixed team competition. Italy versus Ukraine for the 2022 edition of these championships in the beautiful region of Bavaria. Italy will get us underway.
And that's it.
I was going to say Mauro has shot at this venue earlier today, so he must have set his sight, and maybe he did, but he's still adjusting it, so maybe the circumstances have slightly changed.
So the pairs will shoot one arrow each, then rotate to the other team before rotating back for the second set of arrows. So 4 in total Here's Alexei Humbin with his first arrow for Ukraine, and right into the centre of the target.
That's a very good shooting and also a very nice shot to look at. Very crisp release and yeah, nice smooth draw through the clicker. And although smooth is maybe not the best way to describe Nespoli's shot, he's very good at hitting the middle. So he basically forces the arrow in the middle rather than than doing it smoothly.
And that's 8.
That's a very gettable target for Ukraine, especially given the fact that they haven't missed the centre of the target.
And this is a great angle to see that Alexei is actually not using his sling, a finger sling, which is maybe only interesting to the archery nerds. But you have a finger sling, so you can see a little piece of lace on the thumb of Veronica. And that little piece of string prevents you from grabbing your bow too much, so you can just release your bow. That's also why they fall forwards, because the balance of the bow is in such a way that the bow will fall forwards typically. And that sling will prevent the bow from falling onto the floor. Hunbin has decided that he doesn't need that piece of string and he'll just catch the bow whenever he shoots, which is a bit unconventional, but it seems to work well for him.
It's all about unique processes and repeating them time and time again. Italians in the crowd cheering on their compatriots. They need it as well, because despite the 8 and a 9 from Marchenko and Hunbin for their second arrows, they got 37. It was enough to take the 2 set points in the first set.
There's a little fly that landed on the finger of Mauro, on his index finger.
Fully focused, so focused.
And here you can see the lack of finger sling on his left hand, the right hand for the viewers. And he just makes sure that the bow doesn't drop. He just holds it, but loosely holds it. So I don't think he torques his bow in any way. Typically, archers just use a finger sling, so they know that they don't have to catch it and they don't have to hold it.
There's a couple of happy Italian chaps in the crowd there.
Yeah, well, they have good reason to be happy after winning a gold medal earlier today.
Nespoli's teammates cheering him on for a second medal here in Munich. Better start to the second set for the Italians.
Yeah, this is the way to get started if you want to come back in a match. Really nice angle to see how they actually get through the clicker. Just to clarify, getting through the clicker means that you pull back your bow far enough that the arrow slips from under that little metal plate that's on your riser, indicating that you've drawn back your bow far enough so you can release the string. And it brings this extra level of consistency to your shot. It's a good shot by Hunbin, but just a tiny bit high.
And the 10, 90.
It's a bit of a long hold, and typically for most archers that wouldn't be such an issue, but Mauro is shooting so heavy you can see him trembling when he's holding his bow for too long. And yeah, well, he managed to keep it in the gold, which is good. But I don't think he should do that too often.
Effectively, he'll get tired, won't he? He'll get muscle fatigue. And when you talk about shooting heavy, you're talking about the amount of tension he requires to pull the string back.
Yeah, you have a draw weight and the mass weight of the bow. The mass weight is not spectacularly heavy for Mauro, as Hunbin calmly shoots an arrow in the X-ring.
A 10 required here for Ukraine to draw level and share the points, and quite possible. Dropped it into the 9, so we are all square here. Sorry, Chef, that was just that moment where there was a chance for something to happen both ways, and we've ended up with a draw there. But yeah, go back to this bow weight, because I think it's quite a critical thing for people that don't understand the sport as well as you do.
So you have stabilizers on your bow that you can put weights on, and with that you can alter the balance of the bow, but also just the overall mass weight of lifting the bow. A heavier bow will have a tendency to be more calm and aiming. Here you can see Mauro in shot, trembling a little bit, although it doesn't show as much in slow motion. But you can also alter the draw weight. So a heavier bow will obviously have a straighter flight, a straighter arrow flight, and therefore be less vulnerable for circumstances like wind or rain. But it's also more of a physical strain. You'll be more likely to build up lactic acid in your shoulders when holding and aiming. So yeah, there's this.
It's a balance that you've got to find for yourself, that you've got to work out. But actually, what we've been talking about this whole weekend of these European Championships is the fact that the wind has been so still that a little breeze, a tiny little fluster of wind, can move an arrow, and if you're not concentrating and if you're shooting at a lighter weight, you might well get more affected by a slight wind. Well, 2 apiece here in this bronze medal match as Mauro Nespoli steps up. Italy have drawn level with Ukraine halfway through this bronze. Mussolesi in the crowd there, really getting behind his compatriots, having taken the gold in the Recurve men's team competition with Nespoli earlier on today. Andre Early, though, arguably is shooting the better here.
Yeah, very, very well. Previous hand shot 2 10s, and now it started off with a 10 as well. It didn't seem like such a bad shot, but yeah, he was contemplating if he should move his sight or not, and I think he ended up not moving his sight because deep down he knew that that was going to go high.
So a chance here for Italy to put this out of reach of Ukraine. Another 19 will do it.
It's a bit of a plucky release on the string, which is also one of the things that you should watch out for when shooting heavier than you should be shooting. There will be more tension in your release hand, your right hand typically for a right-handed archer, and therefore being more plucky on the string, rather than the nice, smooth and relaxed release that you're supposed to have.
Well, a 9 and an 8 from Italy has left an opportunity here. Hunbin needs to be in the middle of the target there. And now a bit of pressure on Marchenko. She requires the centre of the target to share the set points. Needs to hit a 10.
That's an expensive arrow, I think, since Italy is shooting quite well. Even if Andrioli shot an 8 just now, I think if you look at the arrows before that, they've had a very good end and mostly shooting in the gold. So trailing by 2 set points is not really ideal in this situation.
No, and like I say, with the Ukrainians shooting first, Italy know that all they have to do is match it. It's great to have the Ukrainians here in the crowd, and worth mentioning what the German Federation have been doing here as they're hosting this competition. They have been financially supporting the Ukrainian archers, and they've actually not only paid their way into this tournament, but the archers from Ukraine are training and living in Germany at the moment. So it's a magnificent show of solidarity.
Yeah, it's nice that they are able to do so, yeah.
Letzten und womöglich entscheidenden Satz für beide Teams, und das ist nochmal unser Applaus für beide Teams. Give it up for both teams, ladies and gentlemen. Ukraine shoots first on target number 2.
Well, both of the female parts of the team shooting 8 to finish off the previous set. Italy 4-2 up going into the 4th and final regulation set. So Ukraine will shoot first. They need to put down some big scores to put some pressure on the Italian team.
And that's a 9.
Lindben has had a tendency this match to shoot high arrows. And yeah, there you go. He moved his sight anyways. So even though the last arrow he shot was in high 8 and he did not move his sight because he felt like it was fair that it was high, I think he realizes now that it was higher than it should have been. As Marchenko shoots an 8, which does not really put a lot of pressure on Italy for this first part of this set.
Especially when you've got the experience of Nespoli on the shooting line. Well, you can see the body movement and the shaking at full draw that Chef you were talking about there. It was a very, very good close-up.
A bit of a bit of body English to put that one in the 10 ring, but yeah, you have to do whatever is necessary, especially in the finals round. You want to get the arrow in the middle, and it doesn't matter how it gets there. That was a much better shot.
Veronika Marchenko needs to follow suit here. Another 10 from Ukraine will put some pressure on Italy. She's dropped it though into the 7.
Yeah, and she seems a bit surprised by it. So it might be that some wind picked up, but I think Mauro is not the one to be affected by it too much.
No, that is evidence to support your claim there, Chef Vandenberg. Well, here we go. 5 points required from Tatiana Andreoli for Italy to take the bronze medal at the 2022 European Championships. It's into the 8. It's more than enough. Perhaps not what she wanted exactly, but it's enough for Italy to take bronze with a 6-2 win over Ukraine. Delight for them. Warm handshakes and hugs from the Ukrainians. And yes, absolutely fantastic for the Italian team, but it's also fantastic that not only are Ukraine here at these European Championships, but they've got they had a chance to be on this range.
Yeah, and it's always nice to be on the finals field. I can imagine that it's a nice break from reality for them as well.
Italy, though, take the plaudits here in Munich. A second medal of the day for Mauro Nespoli, having picked up the Recurve men's team gold medal earlier on Recurve Sunday. He's here picking up a bronze in the mixed team. Hunbin and Marchenko, well, they put in a great effort to get to this stage, but in the end it wasn't quite enough.
So here's a nice close look at the clicker. And then after that clicker goes, you can see the release of the fingers. You don't actively open your fingers, you just let the fingers open by the force of the string, making the release nice and crisp.
Wir sehen gleich ein Mixed-Finale mit deutscher Beteiligung gegen die Niederlande. Darauf freuen wir uns. Looking forward to the gold medal match for Recurve mixed team in a few seconds. We are the judge and the coaches, so everybody please stand up for the gold medal. Bitte aufstehen, alle zusammen.
Another
Auf
medal
geht's.
for Mauro
Please stand
Nespoli
up. Ich
to add to his
möchte,
collection,
dass ihr gleich
and
die
a
Klatschen
warm
aufnehmen.
congratulations with his partner Tatiana Andreoli, who shows her love to the Italian support in the crowd. Well, no time to rest on your laurels. It's time now for the Recurve mixed team gold medal match, and what a lineup we have on our hands as the Netherlands lead out Germany, going for gold at the European Championships here in Munich. Well, you can see who most of the crowd are backing. I think we're going to find out very shortly with the loudest cheer in the stadium today.
On target number 1, representing Germany, Recurve. And Florian Unruh. On target number 2, representing Netherlands, Gabi Schlösser. And Rick van der Ween. The lineup for this match is Klaus Recurve.
So there we go, teams introduced. Obviously the home crowd are going to be right behind Florian Unruh and Michelle Kruppen. But I suspect my partner in crime sitting next to me here is going to be right behind Gabi Schlösser and Rick van der Ven. Chef, very quickly, you look at the rankings, Germany are the strong favourites for this, but actually at the moment Rick van der Ven in particular is shooting very well.
Yeah, Rick has done really well in the last couple of months, I would say, and also the mixed team has done very well in the last couple of months. So yeah, this might become a very interesting match.
Kruppen with a sighter.
Yeah, she's been adjusting her sight for the previous match, I think, but it seems like the circumstances have changed, as Mauro is also not really hitting in the middle immediately. And it's interesting that Florian also hits there, so I think they collectively decided to adjust their sight accordingly, which made them hit in the same spot. So Rick is just asking, did you aim there or did you adjust your sight for it? Yeah, that looked like a good shot. So I think he'll be adjusting his sight.
Well, you always say get the grouping first. They've both done that, so we could be in for an absolute humdinger here.
Yeah, essentially you want to have a group before you can move that group. If you don't shoot a group, you don't know where to move your sight to. And it seems as though Germany has done exactly that.
Communication between them there crucial. Unruh listening.
It's a bit strange to me. I didn't see any weird movements there that would indicate him going so far out of the middle.
Well, 33 is a very, very gettable target here for the Netherlands. Schlisser shows that her and her partner can shift their group as well. Time was running short there, but a 9 produces what turns out to be a brilliant 37 for the first 2 set points. So, a bit of a question mark over Unruh's last arrow, isn't there?
Yeah, as in typically you can see, especially in recurve archery, if a shot won't go in the middle, there's something like a bad release, or maybe you can see in the left arm for a right-handed archer. But in this case, it kind of looked okay. But yeah, it's very difficult to find and to see all of the nuances that the archer can feel when they're on the line.
And it could be just as simple as a little gust of wind.
It could be, but typically when it's windy, you don't shoot higher because it takes energy out of the arrow. So mostly you'll go either just to the side or to the side and a little bit down because the arrow flies not as good. Here, a good look at the finger position on the string. It's a very critical part of shooting recurve. You want to be very consistent in where you put your fingers on the string. As they show a video of Rick's bow and then Gabi's arrow hitting.
I think only you would have spotted that, though, to be fair. Well, curious final arrow from Unruh. Kroppen taking it fairly philosophically. But it does mean that the Netherlands are 2-0 up, and Chef Vandenberg has a big smile on his face.
There's still a bit of Dutch pride left.
Second set, though, a chance for the Germans to fight back here. Kroppen up to the line.
It's frankly quite brilliant, right? So she shoots an 8 in the first arrow, adjusts her sight, and just shoots 2 10s after that. So what more would you want?
Hello. The Germans have arrived.
Yeah, and this will put some pressure on the Dutch team as well, because they're not only shooting after the Germans. Seems like Gabi doesn't do pressure. They don't even only shoot after the Germans do. The Germans shoot 2 10s and they have the home crowd behind them, so it's a bit of a mental game as well. Seems like they're relatively unfazed by everything I just said.
Yeah, the Germans may well have arrived, but the Dutch got here first. 2-0 up. And the two pairs have hit the 10 mark. Sailors to say that, though. Kroppen drifts back off to the left.
And that was what I was saying before. If a shot goes out of the middle or out of the gold, you typically see it when recurve shooting. And that shot by Michele was not as smooth, not as fluid as some of the other shots that we've seen.
Unruh, though, rights the ship. A 38 is a good score. But 40 available to the Netherlands. Yeah, there was a lot of movement there.
And Gabi is typically a quick archer, so if she's holding for that long, then that's probably trouble. Rick, though, is not as quick of an archer, so I think he'll be in a bit of a pinch for time here.
A 10, though, to take them into a 4-0 lead. 9-3-1. Anything less, and the Germans will be level. Into the 10, under pressure. A 39 is always going to be the 38, and we have a real match on our hands here as the Dutch team draw level.
And a relatively, how do you say that? A unique smile from Rick when walking off the line. Normally Rick is quite stoic in his in his face, but right now he could afford a smile when he shot that last arrow into the tin.
Die Niederlande mit dem Mixteam erfolgreich gewesen bei den Olympischen Spielen in Tokio. Silber gewonnen. Gabi Schlösser war mit dabei. Sie sind Nummer 2 in der Welt.
Yeah, she had to reset. You could see there was movement before that as well.
I think she expected the arrow to go through the clicker at that point, and she almost released it. But then she had to reset and do it again because the clicker didn't go yet. And if you release the arrow without the clicker going for a right-handed archer, it will go to the right bottom part of the target somewhere. Depending on what kind of clicker you use and what kind of vanes you use, it can be anywhere between like the 9 or completely miss the target.
Well, that's what team competition is all about, being able to support each other when times are tough, and that's certainly what Rick van der Ven did at the end of that. They're level now, but I'm going to drag the neutral out of you here. This is a great match, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this.
Quality shot up, and the two teams are all square as they go for the European gold medal. The Germans having to fight back here. The 33 and the 38 just pipped in that last one by Rick van der Ven, who stands on the other side of the shooting line waiting for Unruh.
Yeah, and it can be quite painful to lose out with a 38 because it's just a really good end. But yeah, now they shot 2 arrows basically on a size of a penny, but just not in the middle.
So the Dutch team just have to match the Germans now. So the pressure is really off, isn't it, to some extent?
Yes and no, because obviously there is also pressure in trying to bring the match home. But I think for this set particularly, if Germany keeps shooting 9s, then it's relatively easy to keep matching them.
Well, that's just what's happened. They are all square in this set, but the Dutch have the precious points on the board.
I think she was convinced that that was a good shot, but yeah, it's difficult to tell the difference in the shot when it's hitting either like a 9.8 or a 10.0.
Oh, they could have done with a 10 there, I think. So 36 is quite gettable here as a philosophical smile on the face of Kruppen.
I think Gabi just has to not be quick about it, but just put her side in the middle and go. But that's exactly what she's not doing. Yeah.
She looked anxious, didn't she?
Yeah, this one you could kind of see this one coming. At this point, I think what Gabi should have done is just put her side on the gold and just go for it. Because if she shoots a solid shot, it doesn't matter if it's super precise. She'll typically hit the gold, and the same goes for Rick. But yeah, it's like I said before, it's quite difficult to just bring a match home like that, even if the scores are manageable.
Exactly. So I mean, I said the pressure's off, and you corrected me immediately and said, well, actually, the pressure's right there. And quite frankly, Schlösser was suffering from having to redraw previously. The knock-on effect then meant less time for Rick van der Ven and also less confidence.
Yeah, it seems like Gabi's confidence has taken a little bit of a dent, and yeah, I think if I would be shooting with her or in the coaching box, yeah, I would maybe say like, okay, just put your sight on the middle and go. Like just keep fighting for it. It's difficult if you're on the line, and it's always easier said than done. But in this case, I think that's what would help Gabi and Rick in this case the most. Although, historically speaking, if you talk to Rick about maybe speeding up his shot, he has a good point in saying, okay, but my shot, there's a reason my shots are taking too long. If I speed it up now, I might do something else wrong. So there's always this fine line that you're walking in terms of rhythm.
Well, the Germans have got themselves on to the scoring sheet here. 4-2, the lead for the Netherlands. So Germany will shoot first, and it's Michelle Kroppen on the line.
That looked like a really nice shot, but just hit slightly left of center. And I think she's adjusting her sight right now. It seems like there might be just this little bit of a drift, because every time so far I feel like they've followed each other in their first arrow, and then it might be that maybe the wind is slightly there and changing, but it's not really easy to feel. That was not the best shot. It was a similar shot to the previous one, but she managed to throw it into the yellow still. Slightly tedious, that shot, but see they're trying to read the wind and try to correct for it. But I think Rick thought that the wind was going to the left, also because Germany was hitting on the left, but he might have overcorrected a bit.
Critical arrow, and it's a 10. The next arrow for Germany, also important. Florian Unruh could really do with putting down another 10. Just that for a 38. Now let's not forget they shot a 38 before and it didn't work out. This time the pressure is slightly different, because the Netherlands now need 2 10s to draw level. If they were to do that, they would take this gold medal. Technical break?
Yeah, it seems like something is wrong with the clock. I don't know. Gabi didn't step on the line, and instead of stepping on the line, she pointed at something and said something to the judge. So.
Well, there's the reason. That's that clock again. That pesky clock with its gremlins here on a Sunday afternoon. Just to add spice, a little bit more spice. Not that it needs it. This one, it's an absolute corker. So, Chef, at this moment in time, what is going through? I mean, the Germans have shot their arrows. If you're now there, standing in those shoes, what are you thinking?
Yeah, it's really easy to go into negative thinking and think like, oh, of course this happens to us, and of course it happens at this moment. And typically, if you're standing for long enough, your nerves will kind of drop down a bit, but then suddenly you're thrown back into reality. You're like, oh, I need to shoot. So. Yeah, you cannot really get too relaxed, because you have to stay sharp for those 2 arrows that you still have to shoot.
Yeah, and the great consideration there for athlete welfare as well, for bringing out the shade for Schlosser. Just even potentially a distraction from what's going on. That the clock's up and running again, and Gabi Schlosser is on the line. 2 10s required.
Yeah, that was a good shot. You could see that rhythm that I was talking about. Just this time she just put her sight in the middle, kept going until the clicker went, and then fired a strong shot.
And that's what you said Van der Ven has to do. A 10 for the European title in 2022.
1 second on the clock, and he gets it.
Oh, just about. I don't think anyone can believe it around there, certainly not the coach. But Van der Ven, twice in that match, required a 10, this time to take the title, and he did it on both occasions. A warm congratulations to the silver medalists as well, and a very, it's always good to see this at the end. This is a European title match being contested here, and look at the respect between the athletes.
Yeah, well, they have shot together with or against each other, depending on how you want to look at it, for so long, and they know each other. They see each other quite regularly. Oftentimes they see each other more than their own family, so you could say that it's like a family.
Well, it's a tremendous family. They put on a great show for us here, and it's Rick van der Ven and Gabby Schlusser proudly holding up the Dutch flag. They are the 2022 European champions. Tremendous effort from Kroppen and Unruh getting their photo taken. Just not quite enough today. They were nearly there, almost.
Yeah, well, they shot 2 great ends with those 38s, but it doesn't help if your opponent then betters it or levels it when they need to. So yeah, I think Germany can walk away with this well-deserved silver medal, in a sense that they seriously won this silver medal and they didn't lose the gold in that sense.
That's a lovely way of putting it. And let's just to recap on you talking about that. Germany beat Italy to get through to that. That's a big win.
So you can see here maybe the last shot of Gabby where she was just pulling and it didn't take too long, if this is the last shot. And then just a strong shot she fired off into the 10. And then the moment with the technical issue where she steps off the line and points at the timing system not working.
Yeah, they had a bit to cope with, didn't they, the Dutch team? They really did win this. As you see the clicker go for Rick van der Ven.
Rick is not known for his prettiest release, but it was good enough to make the coach happy.
Looking down the scope to see where that arrow's gone, and it was a look of almost disbelief, gleeful disbelief from the coach. And Van der Ven turns round. Does he know at this point? Yes, he does.
Yeah, he has a cheeky smile on his face.
Well, a brilliant win from the Dutch pairing of Schlosser and Van der Ven. The Germans will be perhaps hurting a little bit, but they should be very proud of taking a silver medal here in Munich. Well, let's go and find out what the new European champions have to say.
Gabi, it's the first Dutch medal in this young competition, in the mixed competition. Your feelings?
Just really happy, we shot really good. We had one end where we both were kind of like, oh yeah, this is getting really serious, but we kept it together and just really happy.
Rick, you need the 10 in the last arrow. Was it a special game against the home team also?
Well, in the end, yeah, because the crowd is obviously, the Germans are the favorites, but for me, normally in a team round with 3 seconds, I would just hurry up a bit more. But with this one, it was either all or nothing, so just wait until it goes, and it ended up in a 10, luckily, so.
Yes. Double gold for family Schlesser. So, it's a perfect European championship for you both?
Yeah, I think that Mike did really good yesterday. I'm just super proud of everything what he's doing at the moment, and if I can contribute a little bit to the medal counting at home, it's just amazing.
Congrats again.
Thank you.
Well, I'm really interested to hear what Rick van der Ven's talking about all or nothing and using all that time at the end. That's very impressive that he was able to stay so composed to do that. A lovely nod from Gabby Schlusser to her husband, who's performing brilliantly in the compound division at the moment, arguably the greatest archer of all time in that discipline, and on the most incredible form. You refer to him as Roger Federer. But one thing I will say, Gabi Schlosser, it's not a small part you're playing in this. You're here, you've just become European champion.
Yeah, I think sometimes she overlooks the fact that she actually wins quite many medals.
She does, doesn't she? Very humble of her to put it that way, but she's the new European champion, and it's time to hand out all the medals here in Munich. The last of the team medals, the Recurve mixed team victory ceremony coming up right now.
Will be presented by Vice President of the German Shooting Sport and Archery Federation, Mr. Gerhard Furnier. Gifts will be presented by President of World Archery Europe and first Vice President of World Archery, Mr. Mario Scasella. Bronze medal representing Italy.
They fought back after losing in the semi-finals. The Italian pairing of Tatiana Andrioli and Mauro Nespoli collecting bronze in this Recurve mixed team division. Nespoli having already collected the Recurve men's team gold with his teammates earlier on today. And Musalesi and Paoli were allowed cheerleaders in the crowd. Traditional dress being worn there by the giver of gifts.
Silver medal representing Germany.
Host nation of these European champions feature in the silver medal position. Michel Kroppen on the right, Florian Unruh on the left.
Michel Kroppen. Florian Unruh.
Very good performance from Kroppen and Unruh, but these two were just too good in the end. Rick van der Ven and Gabriela Schlosser taking the Recurve mixed team European title. How happy are you, Chef?
I'm mostly very happy for them and proud to be Dutch and to know them and have shot with them for many years.
Gabi Schlosser.
Special moment for this pairing. A special moment for everyone in the crowd that is there to support them. Well, they've got the gifts now. They've got the gold medals. One more special thing to come for them. It's time to celebrate with their national anthem. Well, there we have it. In the shadow of Lady Bavaria, the Germans were able to collect a silver medal, but the Dutch are on top of the pile here in the recurve mixed team competition. Schlosser and Van der Ven, the new European champions. Italy's Nespoli and Andrioli taking the bronze. So here's how the recurve mixed teams finished up in the end. Netherlands top of the pile from the host nation Germany, Italy beating Ukraine in the bronze medal playoff, and Great Britain finishing off the top 5. Well, beautiful afternoon here. We see the umbrellas are out, but not for the rain that they were out for earlier on in the week. Out for the sun, which is beating, and there's that fly that you spotted, Chef, coming in onto Nespoli's hand as he's shooting.
Yeah, I'm sure it didn't stick around for too long, as as it would get stuck in the bristles of Mauro Nespoli's beard. So I think it wandered off after a while.
They get another good look at some of these close-ups, seeing all the intricacies and bespoke nature of the equipment being used by these athletes. Gabby Schlosser's bow, black and white, making it look very sleek.
Also get a good look at the clicker of Florian Unruh. Again, it's like a draw length indicator, just to aid with consistency. And then the happiness of Jacqueline, the coach of the Dutch team.
Yeah, that is absolutely fantastic. And that's what a winning European smile looks like. Well, a little breeze blowing here in Munich. We now turn our attention to the recurve women's tournament. We're down to just 2 matches now. The losing semi-finalist up first, Katharina Bauer and Elisabeth Stracker, Germany versus Austria. And Germany feature in the final with Michelle Kroppen back out, going up against Gulnaz Koskun of Turkey. Up first, though, Bauer against Stracker. We've got a little presentation going on in the arena here at the moment, celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Olympic Games being here with these championships, part of a summer-long festival. There's another festival in Munich. Have you been to the Oktoberfest in October in Munich?
I haven't. Maybe it should be on my bucket list, maybe.
I'd strongly recommend it. It's a jolly good fun, lots of live music, plenty of steins filled with your poison of choice. In fact, the Hofbrauhaus is just around the corner from here, one of the most famous bars, pubs in the world. Anyway, enough of that. Should we do some archery? It's time for the bronze medal match in the women's competition here in Munich. And Munich's very own Katharina Bauer is featured in this match. Going for bronze at home, Bauer gets a big round of applause from the crowd here. They will be right behind Katharina Bauer from this town. It's going to be an interesting one for Elisabeth Stracker from the neighbours in Austria, as we go down to the field of play for the introductions.
On target number 1, representing Germany, Katharina Bauer. On target number 2, representing Austria, Elisabeth Stracker. The line judge for this match is Manuela Cascio.
So, Chef, we haven't got much time. The banana is back on Bauer's back. The difficult, interesting one for Straka here because the crowd are all going to be behind Katharina Bauer.
Yeah, maybe she can find some consolation in the fact that they at least speak the same language as she does.
Always looking for the silver lining, Chef Vandenberg. And there's Straka's. So another one of Bauer's trinkets. Another late adjustment from Bauer. The wind you can just see slightly picked up. We start the Recurve women's bronze medal match here in Munich.
Yeah, and although she adjusted the elevation of her side, she didn't adjust the what is it? The latitude or the width.
The lateral.
So to say, yeah, lateral. So she did hit pretty much on the right height, but not the right width.
Well, if you're new to this and the individuals and you've been watching the teams, it switches around very quickly. Only 3 arrows and they shoot alternately.
Both having trouble finding the middle of the target, but yeah, it seems like the wind has slightly picked up from what we can see, especially if you zoom in at the target, you can see the paper fluttering around sometimes, and I think there might be more wind that we can see with our vantage point here.
Yeah, I think you may well be right, and Bauer has put this one out of reach, but it's not just about that. Straka would have been looking to find a little bit more into the middle, perhaps a bit of overcorrection to bottom rights and then going high left.
Yeah, and it's a very logical thing to do. If you hit bottom right twice, then you're gonna, correct either with your sight or with your aiming. And if then the circumstances change again, you're automatically gonna hit low or high left. So it makes sense, but yeah, I think it's time to get in the gold for her.
Time for both of them to get into the goal. I mean, there was a very, what's the right word, deliberate, functional, practical conversation going on between Bauer and coach there. It was quite serious. And then you could see the coach immediately said, right, that's enough, we've done that now, relax. And you saw Bauer starting to smile again and chill out.
So that was the information. From now on, you can relax again and focus on the next end or next set, rather.
Tricky one for Straka here as well. Coach for the Austrian also trying to keep her calm and relaxed. She's got to ignore what's going on around you at the best of times. When you're shooting against someone for a medal at the European Championships on their home turf, it's a little bit harder than normal to keep you cool. Bauer's taken the first set. Straka will shoot first in the second.
Yeah, that looked a bit like a sloppy release to me, a bit of a delay between the click and the release. And I think it was maybe due to a little bit too much tension in the shot. It looked like a much cleaner shot.
Yeah, there was a flow to that, wasn't there, with Bauer?
Yeah, that's better. Better, but still not in a gold. So it might be that either her sight is not set correctly yet, or as we could see by looking at the stabilizer of Katharina Bauer that has a piece of string attached to see the wind, it was blowing to the right. So it might be that the arrow of Elizabeth got caught by the wind and therefore is hitting a bit right. But she's finally found the gold, so maybe from here on out it will improve.
Big opportunity though. 5 to share the points anymore. Well, that is much more. That's a 10, and that is a 4-0 lead for Bauer, who's buoyant. She is bouncing as she's walking. She's on this, isn't she?
Yeah, and she has a very genuine smile on her face. It's not like I am nervous and therefore should smile kind of face. I think she's just generally happy that she's there and that she's leading in a very convincing manner.
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes we talk about the pressure that's on Straka was going up against someone shooting in her hometown. But there's also pressure on Bauer, isn't there? Shooting, there's a responsibility, if you like, and she's relishing it here.
Yeah, you can obviously interpret it in both ways. You can find it or feel it as a pressure, or you can feel it as like a comforting blanket that you have, like a lot of people who are sending you good vibes, who are supporting you in every way possible.
Elisabeth Strager, meine Damen und Herren.
Bit of concern in the first set. It was all smiles at the end of the second. A 4-0 lead for Katharina Bauer. And Stracker, Elizabeth Stracker from Austria, will shoot first. Signs in the previous set that she might well be zoning in on the middle. We're about to find out the start of set number 3.
Yeah, that was quite good. I think she just might be a little nervous. If you look at the shots that she's making, even the good shots are not really hitting where they're supposed to hit. Which in turn is giving Katharina a little bit of breathing room and a little bit of, comfort in this match.
Well, it's looking oh, there we go.
There you go, yeah.
Right in the middle of the target, but it is still possible that Bauer could do it in this set. 6 points the target in the individual, and the grouping looking very strong. They are level on points here, though. Another 10 from Strecker could make this one very interesting.
Yeah, you can see the shaking, it's very visible. She's opening the door a bit, only a 9 to win right now.
Yeah, it's incredible, and you got the feeling here Bauer can do this in 9 arrows. And she gets the 9 that she needs for a 6-0 win. And she's been containing that. She's been holding that in to get a medal here at home in Munich, in her hometown. That is what it looks like.
And that's a beautiful sight to behold. I think, if I'm not mistaken, her coach Oliver is also from this region, so I think they can share this success and share this feeling of doing it in their home region.
Yeah, but look at as all good coaches do, when an athlete wins something, they take the back seat and let them take all the pride. And look at that warm congratulations from Elizabeth Strecker, who must have been going through all sorts of emotions in that match, but genuine smile from the Austrian coach as well.
Yeah, it's all in good fun, and even though a medal was on the line, I think she has enjoyed being on the stage, and this whole experience must have given her a little bit of motivator for the next competitions.
Absolutely, but it's all about Katharina Bauer, quite rightly taking her moment in the spotlight. Look at the crowd all on their feet. Absolutely joyous moment here.
Thank you for a great match.
Just getting a final few photos here. The European bronze medalist Katharina Bauer wants the coach in there.
Well, after all, it is a joint effort, isn't it? I mean, the coach has also spent a lot of time for this.
Yeah. Cried a lot of tears, no doubt, as well. But the tears at the end of that match were of pure joy. Katharina Bauer taking the Recurve Women's bronze medal. Bauer on some rich form here. Her only major senior individual medal has come this season on the High-End Archery World Cup circuit. She got a bronze in the first 2 stages. So this is quickly turning into a very good season for her. Unbridled joy, that is for sure, here in Munich. between coach and athlete.
Eins kann ich euch sagen, wir werden jetzt gleich noch eine weitere Medaille gewinnen. So viel kann ich sagen. Welches sein wird, das erfahren wir jetzt gleich. Wohl schon mal die Coaches und die Kampfrichterin rein für das nächste Goldfinale und ihr dürft euch schon mal langsam erheben.
Just trying to soak it all in, isn't she? She's just looking around trying to think, I've got to remember this, I've got to remember this moment.
Denn wir wollen jetzt hier nochmal richtig Stimmung. Ich sehe es jetzt, Bavaria klatschen.
Well, we move straight on now to the Recurve Women's Gold Medal match. Germany had a lot to cheer for in the bronze as Munich's very own took the bronze medal, Katharina Bauer. Now the Germans' support will turn to Michelle Kruppen, who is coming out second behind her opponent from Turkey, Gulnaz Koskan. European title up for grabs here in Munich. Will it be double glory for the German crowd? Time to go down to the field of play though. The athlete introductions.
Gold medal match. On target number 1, representing Germany, Michelle Kruppen. On target number 2, representing Turkey, Gülnaz Koşkun. The line judge for this match is Katarina Konchalova.
We're about to get underway here. Kruppen is a 2020 Olympic team bronze medalist from Tokyo. She's got team silver and bronze at European Championships before, but no individual medals until now, where she's guaranteed at least silver. Gulnaz Koskan, European Youth Individual Gold Medal back in 2018, a silver in 2016, plus a silver individual bronze in 2018. So she's got experience of winning at the Euros. Neither have taken a gold medal. And that's what this match is all about. Kruppen versus Koskan. The German will get us underway.
9.
With a very solid 9, and I think she has taken some lessons from Katarina's match just now.
9.
Well, a little less nerves in this gold medal match, surprisingly. A very high quality start from both of them. Kruppen can put this out of reach with another 10. Just clips the 9, so a 28 means that Koskan has to hit the 10 to share the set points.
And she did just that.
She certainly did. We got a great match on our hands here by the looks of things. The first set has been shared and they will wait for the agents to retrieve the arrows out of the target, but all square there. And I've noticed that Kruppen, as well as the bananas, is sort of daubed in Olympic memorabilia.
Yeah.
Her cap's got the rings on, she's even got a tattoo,
Yeah,
the
well,
clipboard that the coach is using.
Yeah, she did win a medal with the team, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I can only imagine that the Olympics for her must have been a very nice memory that she wants to be reminded of every once in a while.
So yeah, as well as being a sort of reassuring thing for her, oh, I've got an Olympic bronze medal, I'm good. Is it also a bit of a sort of, a put-off for the opponent?
I don't think that's the approach. I think you wouldn't go so far as to put literal ink under your skin to impress an opponent. I think it's more of a thing to show people that you're proud of how hard you worked for something, and yeah. to show people that you're an Olympian.
Well, she certainly is an Olympic bronze medalist, and she's here with a chance of taking a European title. All square, though, after the first set, so Kroppen will get the second underway. I think it's cut the line, so
Yeah.
she will get a 10.
She was getting a lot of feedback from her coach, so I wonder what that feedback was all about. Maybe he saw something in the aero flight that he reported on, or he at least was giving her a lot of information. That's about as good as a 9 can get. Right side outside of the 10 ring.
Another chance for Kroppen to put this one out of reach. She needs a 10 to get the points. She's got herself an 8 for a 27, and that now means that Gulnaz Koskan has an opportunity to steal the points here. She needs a 10 to do that. She's gone into the 9. We can't split these two at all. 2 set points apiece, but that was a bit more topsy-turvy, that set.
Yeah, they both showed some vulnerability in their left high 8s, and but they also both showed that they can recover from it. So I think it doesn't have to mean anything just yet. But
It's still all to play for, right?
Yeah. And I think for these archers right now, they've been on the field or close to the finals venue presumably all day, because they've shot this morning. They've been watching other people shoot. They shoot now. They have to probably shoot some arrows in between to stay warm and keep the feeling going. So regardless of the fact that archery is maybe not the most physical sport to do, it can be very physically draining to be on a field like this the whole day and have those emotional and mental waves of being. So
perhaps the emotional side of things is you don't count for it.
I always try to explain to people, you can compare it with making a bunch of tests in school or having a long meeting. You'll end up sitting at home in the evening and thinking, oh Jesus, I'm tired. So it's very comparable to archery in that sense.
Well, nothing between Kroppen and Koskan. Germany versus Turkey go into set number 3. Longer hold here, bit of a shake.
Wow,
Where's
yeah.
this going?
That was not good. You could see the moment of click. So when she pulled it back through the clicker, there was a bit of a stumble and a bit of a moment before she released, and yeah, you could see that it was going to go low.
So this is perhaps the biggest opportunity for either of the archers here. Koskan capitalising.
That's better.
8.
But only in the 8. Another good arrow from Koskan. And you'd have to say this set is hers. She's drifted high.
Yeah, this is now twice in the same set that she misses the line of the higher point by a couple millimeters. So
Better from Kroppen, but only a 24. So as you can see, a 7 will tie things up in terms of set points. Anything more, and she is going to get all of the points, and she does just that with a 26. Not the most convincing 2-point grab from Koskan, but they all count.
yeah, just take it or leave it. She took it.
2 set points. She's now in the lead. 4-2.
So you can see kind of the mood change on this side of the field now, where before they were kind of loosely talking between ends, and now it has a bit more of a serious tone. So I think he's trying to be really analytic and try to give her the information she needs to turn this around to see if she can hit the middle in the next end.
keine neuen. Wir machen uns bereit. Und wir haben nochmal alle einen raus hier für beide Schützinnen. Auf geht's, München, vierter Satz.
Well, we get a good look at close-ups of the release, the draw, and the look of unhappiness, in this case for Michelle Kruppen.
Yeah, I think that was a shot of which I said that's better, but then it still hit the 8, so she was as surprised as I was.
Well, she trails here, Michelle Kruppen, in this Recurve Women's Gold Medal match at the European Championships here in Munich. Set number 4. Just to fight her way back into this.
9.
So that's the 4th arrow in a row that she shoots left and a little bit low, but I think I spotted her adjusting her side a bit, so she must have felt like that shot was worth more than the 9 that she got. A bit of a long hold and just went right over the gold.
Massive opportunity again for Koskan, you have to say. She puts it in the 10 and capitalizes again. Wow, there's a lot of pressure on these next 2 arrows. Kruppen has got to block everything out and just go for the middle of the target. Koskan just looking away. She hits the middle of the target for a 27. She couldn't have done more than that after the first 2 arrows, but now you can see Koskan needs a 9 to take the European title. Oh, she bangs it into the 10. Absolutely brilliant performance from Gulnaz Koskan, going up against an athlete shooting at home. She's taken sets 3 and 4 to secure the Recurve Women's European crown of 2022. A warm congratulations from Kruppen to Koskan. Turkish contingent in the crowd. Gulnaz Koskan has converted the bronze she won in the individual European Championship in 2018 to gold here in 2022.
Yeah, and Koskan obviously following in the footsteps of Anna Gosh winning in Legnica in 2018. So not the first lady from Turkey to win the European Championship, but definitely something to be really, really proud of.
You're an encyclopedia of archery knowledge, Chef Vandenberg. That's why you're sitting next to me. Brilliant performance from these two in the final. What a great first 2 sets. Couldn't separate them, but in the end, Gulnaz Koskan takes the European title. Michelle Kruppen will stand on the 2nd step of the podium, and Katharina Bauer from Munich will be in 3rd place as well. Magical performance from all of them.
And although this match seemed like they had a lot less nerves and a lot less pressure than in the bronze medal match, I think under the surface, from like what we couldn't see, there was a lot going on in their minds.
Yeah, I can imagine there was a fair bit of the European title up for grabs. The warm congratulations there, almost synchronized hugging between athletes and coach.
Next up will be the victory ceremony for the Recurve women.
And again, we get the display of graciousness both in victory and defeat from these fantastic individuals.
Danach sehen wir noch die Entscheidungen bei den Recurve Herren. Wir werden Florian Unruh
It's a big sport in Turkey, archery, so this will go down very well. She's her popularity in her own country is just about to go through the roof, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose so, especially after the Olympic win of Mette last year. I think it's been really good.
Chef, we're going to just speak to her right now.
Golnas was missing gold in the teams competition, an extra motivation for you in this match.
Takım yarışmasını kaybetmek bu maç için sana ekstra motivasyon getirdi mi?
Hayır, çok daha zorlaştırdı benim için.
No, exactly. It makes it much more difficult.
4 years ago, you won individual bronze. Is this your career high point?
4 sene önce bireysel bronz kazanmıştım. Bu kariyerin en yüksek noktası mı?
Şu anlık evet.
Yes, so far.
And tell us something about your emotions. You are very happy.
Duygularınla ilgili bize ne anlatacaksın? Çok mutlu görünüyorsun.
Çok mutluyum. Gerçekten çok uzun zamandır bu anı bekliyordum ve gerçekleştiği için çok mutluyum sadece.
I'm so happy. I was expecting this moment for a long time. I'm really happy to. It's one of my dream come true.
And one question to the coach. You are proud?
Of course, I'm proud. It's my whole team. We did really great job here. Then we have one more match. After that, I can say, do I proud myself or not?
Congrats.
Thank you.
Wow, I mean, super special. Golnas Koskan, 22 years old, European champion, clearly very delighted. Chef, sorry, again, interrupted by these interviews. I don't know why we need to speak to the athletes winning European titles. But, no, back in all seriousness.
Are arguably more interesting than what I was going to say.
I'm sure not, but it is a big sport in Turkey, and she's giddy with glee that she's got the title. But her popularity is going to go through the roof.
Yeah, probably, yeah, since the sport has grown, from what I understand, very much, and especially in the public figure, since Mette won a gold medal at the Olympic Championship. So I think she will be widely recognized as a European champion now, not only by archers, and that's a really cool thing.
Chef, they're referring to Mette Gazos, the Tokyo Olympic champion. And we've just got a couple more bits of action here for these European Championships, and that is to settle the medalists in the Recurve men's individual competition. And guess what, Chef? Mette Gazos is going to be out for the next match. He's had an interesting time, hasn't he, the Olympic champion since Tokyo?
Yeah, he did quite well in Yankton, especially at the World Cup final, if I'm not mistaken. And then after that, in the winter, we haven't seen much of him, but he doesn't shoot that much indoor typically. And then this season, it seems like he started off a little bit slow, although he's always up there, especially in the qualification rounds. You can never factor him out, but yeah, he's just still a force to be reckoned with, but not as dominant as maybe last year.
Yeah, and this is the thing. I mean, I think one thing that has to be made clear is that after an Olympic cycle, athletes tend to take a little bit of a breather before running into the next Olympic cycle.
Yeah, and I can only imagine that Mette has had a lot of obligations as well in terms of TV interviews and other things that he has to show up for, maybe sponsorship deals. So, yeah, there is a reason for it, I think.
Well, before we get to the men's competition, it's time to provide the medals to the medalists here in the women's competition. This is going to be quite a special victory ceremony, isn't it? Two Germans on the podium here in Munich, one of them from Munich, and then an absolutely delighted Turkish new champion.
Gifts will be presented by Turkish Consul General of Munich, Mr. Mehmet Günay. Bronze medal representing Germany, Katharina Bauer.
Representing Germany, representing Munich, her hometown. Katharina Bauer, I think she might find the struggle to wipe that smile off her face for quite some time. Bronze medal at home. I think she's still in shock, isn't she? Every now and again she tries to catch herself to just look around, soak it all up.
Yeah, well, you might as well. How often do you stand on a podium like this? Even if you medal every event, it's only every once in a while.
Well, Germany get a double hit in the recurve women's discipline as Michelle Krotten climbs up onto the second step, the silver medal step, just got a little bit away from her in the gold medal match. But she seems to be delighted just to be on the podium in her home country.
Gold medal and European champion 2022, representing Turkey, Gülnaz Başbuğ.
Well, I think that says it all, that smile, the tentiveness walking up onto the podium. I don't think she can quite believe it. She said she dreamt of it for years, but it's true. You've done it. Gülnaz Başbuğ, the Recurve Women's individual European champion.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Brilliant scenes here
for the national
in this
anthem
victory
of
ceremony. It's time now to celebrate with Başbuğ and her national anthem.
Congratulations to the new European champion 2022.
Well, there we have it. Two Germans on the podium in bronze and silver position. But it's Turkish delight for Başbuğ and Gülnaz.
Eckhard Frerich mittendrin statt nur dabei. So gehört sich das. Sieger lächeln und das auch noch mit den Ehrengästen, bitteschön. Und wir haben gleich das Bronzemedaillenmatch bei den Recurve Herren 2 haben wir also noch 2 Matches heute. Wieder mit türkischer Beteiligung. Thank you very much. Teşekkürler.
Superb performance from all of our medalists. Said Gülnaz Başbuğ is the new European champion, but Germany have two athletes they can be very proud of in Michelle Kroppen and Katharina Bauer. From Munich, Katharina Bauer shooting at home. The emotions got the better of her in the end. She burst out into tears, getting her medal on the podium. And the rest of the lineup, as you can see, very, very strong. So as we alluded to earlier on, just a little bit more action to come here in Munich as we take a look back over the women's medal matches. And Bauer, it was a very special moment.
Yeah, it was lovely to watch Katharina just enjoy her home crowd and enjoy the fact that she was shooting well on the final stage. It was really cool.
Yeah, a really wonderful thing for her and for Michelle Kroppen as well. Extra special for Bauer because she's actually from Munich, but I mean Kroppen on home soil as well.
Yeah, just winning a silver medal in the first place at a European Championship is nothing to laugh at. But the fact that she was able to do it in front of her home crowd in her home country must have meant something special to her.
Yeah, but in the end, Başbuğ here, Gülnaz Başbuğ, she held her nerve and her mettle right the way through. Two agonizing first sets where they shared the points in that final, but then she pulled away in sets 3 and 4, and she was just so giddy with delight in the interview. It's just magic to see.
Yeah, it was really nice to see her just keep it together in the final. It didn't fall apart at all. She, even though there was visible nerves in the end, I think she was very collected, and she was just shooting her shot and yeah, finding the middle.
Yeah, well, you can see the emotion pouring out, the beauty of and the mastery of containing that, clearly that bubbly energy is a feat for Koskan, but she is the new European champion. And Chef, we got 2 more to go. We turn our attention now to the men's competition, and we've got both the bronze and the gold medal match coming up in the Recurve men's competition here in Munich, the last of the action of the European Championships. But what a tournament it's been. Well, here we see how the athletes got to this stage. Winning at the top of the order, Florian Unruh goes into the gold medal match against Miguel Garcia, one of the form athletes at the moment. The losing semi-finalists Gazos and Castro are up first. So Chef, as I was saying, what a tournament this has been.
Yeah, it's been such a good tournament, and I think these 4 guys that are now shooting for the bronze and gold have pretty much done it textbook. I think the top 2 seeds have ended up in the gold medal match, and the 3 and 4th seed, 3rd and 4th seed have ended up in the bronze medal match. So yeah, they've just done what they were supposed to do.
Doesn't happen as often as you might think it would.
No, it's a very unpredictable sport, archery, because it's a very short match, only a couple of arrows, and it can be over.
Well, judges and coaches coming down the field of play. You'll see them marching about halfway, well, about a third of the way down. And here come the superstars. Olympic champion Mete Gazos follows out Daniel Castro of Spain. This promises to be something special. Bronze medal match here in Munich at the European Championships. The athletes have made it down. It's nice that they get to walk down and the crowd get to see them full glory with their equipment. We go down now for the athlete introductions.
On target number 1, representing Turkey, Mete Gazos. On target number 2, representing Spain, Daniel Castro. The line judge for this match is Sabrina Steffens.
So great lineup here. The Olympic champion from Turkey, Mete Gazos, at 23 years old, is currently the world number 1. And Daniel Castro from Spain is the world number 51, but he picked up his first major international senior medal last year on a silver in the Hyundai Archery World Cup circuit. So his performance is climbing at the moment. And we've already mentioned Gazos not had a dip in form, but perhaps has just taken his foot off the accelerator since winning the Olympic title. He's here to shoot for bronze, though, here at the European Championships, but it will be Daniel Castro to get this match underway.
A little bit of a surprise right there for me, but also for him. There was a surprised look on his face, and I didn't recognize that as a shot that should go to the left 6 either. So let's see how he corrects this. A little too much, maybe.
Really important arrow here for Castro. The set's probably gone.
But it's, as you say, a really important arrow in the sense that now he at least knows, okay, if I shoot a good shot, it at least goes into the 10. Because shooting a 6 and then a 7 on the other side, it doesn't do well for your confidence typically. So it's nice for him to get that last one in and get the match properly started. I think for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's in some respects he's fortunate that he's in this set system that the recurve point scoring is based individually on each set, so he's got that time to recover that last arrow, as you quite rightly explained, was critical.
Yeah, so even though he lost the last set with 6 points difference, he's still only 2 set points behind, and if he wins the next set with 1 point, they're all leveled up, even though in total he'll have shot 5 points less. So that's the beauty of the set system, but it's also a bit of a danger. So you constantly have to be shooting well, or you can still be caught up and lose the match. So it's important that he really gets it going from now on.
Certainly is, and the 10 will give him the confidence. But perhaps if he looks over the other side of the line, just at a one-drop point with the sighter for Gazos at the beginning, he looks in imperious form. He looks back to his best.
Yeah, and I think he hasn't really been away from it, but yeah, maybe just kind of hovering around it.
So the bronze medal match between Castro and Gazos resumes in the second set. Castro trailing, so he'll shoot first.
Yeah, there was a bit of a wobble, but he still manages to get it in the gold. I do really like watching the methodical shot process of the actually most of the Spanish team, but in particular of Castro. He has a really satisfying shot, and I'm sure that Meta was not so satisfied with that shot.
Chef, this is uncharacteristic for
Yeah.
archery. The arrows are all over the place.
Yeah, well, yes.
By their very high
Exactly,
standards.
yeah, by the standards that we've gotten used to them from them. But yeah, there's a bit of shaking, but it's not enough to really, ring any bells in my book. But
Well, the 27 that he scored is not gettable by Gazos. So and this is an important arrow for him. So both of them had important final arrows, and it's losing the set at the same time.
yeah, it's nice that he illustrates my point I just made. He wins this set with 1 point, and they're all level in this match again, even though effectively he shot 5 points less than Meta in the total of the match. So that's the beauty of the set system. He's all the way back into it right now, and yeah, they both ended with a 10. So yeah, anything can happen from here.
So go back to the point that my callous phrase, all over the arrows are all over the place. I want to qualify it by saying that we are so used to just the yellow part of the target being hit that when you see one going left and one going right and off into the blues, it is a bit unusual.
Yeah, it's definitely unusual, and yeah, the reason I was a bit hesitant about that is because it's really easy for us sitting here to say, they're all over the place, but for your average archer, these groups are still very
They're
good.
awesome for the average archer.
So that's what kind of nuance I wanted to make. But yeah, you are correct that this is not really the level that we've grown to enjoy from them.
Nerves, perhaps?
Maybe nerves, although Meta doesn't seem like he's really nervous. Maybe he's just not really getting into his usual groove or rhythm. And you can sort of see their shirts fluttering in the wind a little bit. So maybe there's more wind than we expected there to be.
Start of set number 3, and that one's drifted over to the right. So I think you're right. I think the wind may well be the factor here. And isn't it surprising that we've been to venues as Gazos shoots his first arrow in this third set? he's over to the right as well.
Yeah, I don't think this is a coincidence.
No. So, but we've been to venues much windier than this. Antalya, for example, on the beach, very windy.
Yeah.
And they're still in the middle. And the fact that there's so little wind here, I think is actually a massive factor, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think because they're basically blocked from the wind themselves, so there's these huge stands around them, but they're not very high, so they won't block all of the wind. It's very difficult to feel what's going on the field. But the arrow will be in an arc, so on the top of the arc, the arrow will catch some wind and will drift outside of the center. So I think it's just a deceiving wind. It's not necessarily the most difficult wind they've ever dealt with, but it's just deceiving.
Well, they've shown, whilst we've been talking about it, that they can both hit the middle of the target after 2 8s. They both shot 2 10s, and that is what we are more used to. They've found the middle of the target now, and we have got a proper match on our hands. 3 sets done, and we have not been able to separate them.
No, there's nothing between them, and I think the wind is, like I said, it's not a wind where you're blown around with your side picture, so you can still aim in the middle and you can still decide where you want to aim on the target. But it's very difficult to recognize where the wind is coming from and how much effect it will have on the arrow. So yes, it's easy to aim off when there's not much wind on the bow, but where do you aim off if you don't have any information except for the windsocks that are also under that line of the stands, so they won't give you an accurate representation of how much wind there actually is.
So in effect, your point of reference is that very first arrow, and if it happens to go into the 8, that's what it is.
It seems like that, because that's what we've been seeing in pretty much all of the matches so far. If people miss, it's typically either the first arrow because of the wind or the last arrow because of the nerves. So the middle is typically very good.
We get some good close-ups of the steely determination on the face of Daniel Castro. All square, set number 4, and it will be the Spaniard to shoot first.
See, there's that sider again. He's hit a 7 on the right, so Meta can take that information and aim off to the left, which he probably did in this case, but maybe a bit too much. So it's I think it's also a game of tactics here, like how much will you aim off, and how much do you dare to aim off when you're not feeling any wind. So it's a very mental game at the moment, I think.
It's a little bit of lottery here with such stillness.
9.
Yeah, it does look like it pierced the line, so, and there's no asterisk, so I think it's a 9 in any case. Oh, and he tried to steer that to the right, so this one he didn't intend to shoot so far to the left, but
Chance for Gazos here. Big chance, in fact. 9 or 10. And he has got the points with that 9 for a 27. We have clear distance between them again. Gazos took the first set, went 2-0 up, only for Castro to fight back in the second. They shared the points in the third. Now Gazos has reclaimed the lead. So, if we summarise what you were saying, Chef, the fact that Castro's shooting first is actually, certainly on the first arrow at least, acting in favour of Metagazos.
yeah, in windy situations, it's not always best to shoot first, because you have to be the guinea pig, essentially. You shoot your first arrow, and then your opponent can take information out of where your first arrow hits. On the other hand, your opponent will not know where you have aimed that arrow. So if you do hit in the middle, your opponent might think, oh, there's no wind because you hit the middle, and then not aim off and hit a different spot on the target. So it's kind of, it goes two ways again.
We can see the coach deliberating with Gazos, but look at how relaxed they are.
Yeah, and I think Mete and Goktuk have grown into more than just athlete and coach. I think they are good friends, and it helps to relax and calm down in a situation like this, to just hang out with your friend.
Well, Daniel Castro needs all the support he can get here. He's shooting at the start of the 5th set to stay in this bronze medal match.
8.
And a high 8. Well, I wonder if Gazos is licking his lips at the prospect here.
It's a way longer shot than we're used to from Mette. He managed to stick it in the gold.
Yeah, and all he needs to do is actually match Castro. Just needs the 1 point to take the European bronze. That's a lovely shot from the Spaniard, though.
Yeah, it hit lovely. And I think he was not really happy with the execution, but that'll easily be forgotten to go into the next arrow.
Yes.
9.
I think Daniel needs a 10 here to stay in the match, because then Mette will have to shoot a 10 as well. If he shoots anything less than a 10, Mette just has to match that to win this match.
Yeah, a bit nervy as well at the end, wasn't it? A 9 for a 27. So a 9 for the point he needs to take this bronze medal.
A 9 to win.
Oh, that is a beautiful finish. The grouping is fantastic.
Looking at the last 6 arrows, he all shot 6, left 9, so his group was very, very good.
And he gets a hug from his coach. Ends up with a 6-4 victory in the end as they share the points in the final set. And again, the camaraderie amongst the fierce opponents on the shooting line, but firm friends off it.
Yeah, like I said before, it's almost like this whole this whole, as Mette does his signature move again. The whole competition field is basically one big family. Everybody knows everybody, and it's always nice to go to a competition and meet your friends again.
Yes, it's very good to be back. And as you say, we saw Mette Gazos' signature move. You know what, I think he was the leader, because now everyone seems to have a signature move.
Yeah, well, I don't think he was the first one to do something like that, but he's definitely the most well-known one.
Yeah, absolutely. And he is the bronze medalist here at the European Championships. It was a tough battle for Daniel Castro, but in the end, the Olympic champion was just a little too good on the day. I think we can say Mette Gazos is back now.
Yeah, I think so too. This is his first notable individual medal this year, I think, if I'm not overlooking anything.
No, you're correct.
So, yeah, I think this might be a step up again to some more success.
More than just coach or athlete, as Chef Vandenberg described. And that picture supports that notion. So Turkey will be on the men's podium. Taking his moment in the limelight. We now turn our attention to the men's recurve gold medal match. The judge and coaches making their way down the range.
Spanish coach didn't get much rest between these two medal matches.
You're right, he didn't indeed. Out with Daniel Castro and back out because Miguel Alvarino Garcia is in the gold medal match. One of the form athletes this year. Alvarino going for gold against Florian Unruh, another German featuring here at the European Championships on home soil in Munich, and you can see that the crowd are right behind him. But I fancy Miguel Alvarino Garcia is blocking all of that out. Let's welcome them out to the field of play. The last of the matches here, the Recurve men's gold medal match.
On target number 1, representing Germany, Florian Unruh. On target number 2, representing Spain, Miguel Alvarinho Garcia. And the lineup for this match is Manuel Acacio.
So I think, if I remember correctly, Alvarinho won the European Games in 2015, but I am not sure if he has ever won an individual European Championship. So it'll be interesting to see if he can add this to the list of accomplishments.
Well, again, your encyclopedic knowledge is fantastic. European Games champion in 2015, gold and bronze on the High-Under Archery World Cup circuit this season. Florian Unruh was a 2014 European champion, but most of his medals by team. It will be the German to get this gold medal match, the last of the offerings here at the European Championships underway. And he starts with a good 9.
This time I have an excuse for remembering that he won the European Games, as I was second in that competition, so it's easy to remember in this case.
Handy. Congratulations, I should say, really.
Both of them shooting a good 9, so not really much sighting in needed, although Florian is hitting to the left consistently. Speaking of consistency, Miguel manages to shoot both of the arrows within a centimeter of each other.
Wasn't happy with that one. That's drifted out into the 8. So the door opens. Might be tempted just to leave everything where it is and just get the 9 he needs with another grouping. He did actually try and move it though.
Yeah, but still manages to keep it in gold for the first set points going to him. And he's all business this season, isn't he?
He is all business. As we say, he took the gold and the bronze so far through the 2 circuit events. The High-Under Archery World Cup, and he just is on great form at the moment. Unruh, though, has experience of winning the European Championship, so let's not write him off too early. This is a cracking match, but it's super fast as well. That's the other thing of note.
Yeah, and you cannot write off Florian just because Miguel has been in top shape, because Florian has ranked first in this competition, and he has, I think, won all of his matches quite convincingly. So pretty good run up to the gold medal match, and I'm sure he wants to extend that to the gold medal in front of his home crowd.
Yeah, and he's had some tough opponents. Unruh from Romania, Van der Ven, your compatriot, and of course the Olympic champion you took out in the semi-finals.
Yeah, so he's not easily intimidated by any accolades that have been collected by his opponent.
Certainly not. Second set here. And the German trailing by 2 points. Florian Unruh will get the first arrow into the target and into the 9.
And there's not much shaking going on, so I think he's feeling comfortable on the field right now. But the same could be said for Miguel. He's looking very solid. And I think over the last maybe 2 or 3 years, I've seen Miguel's shot vastly improve, technically speaking. So it's a very nice fluid motion that he has, and it's very enjoyable to watch as an archery nerd. Although that shot was maybe not the best example of what I was just saying, it was still very close to the middle.
Unruh has stepped right back into the match. He's put the set out of reach of Alvarino with those 2 10s. Important arrow though to rehearse for set number 3. Just pulled that one off to 9. So he hasn't come out of the 9 ring at all so far in this match.
Yeah, they say that archery is all about consistency, but I think that he would like to shoot some 10s as well.
Indeed. And you were mentioning about Alvarino Garcia working on his technique. And he was talking earlier this week, in fact, about how much harder he is now working than he ever has done before. He decided 18 months, 2 years ago that he was going to take this a lot more seriously than he was before. I mean, he was a good archer before, but over the last 2 years, you've noticed the improvement, and he's told us that he's been working.
Yeah, so it's at least a good shout for me. I noticed that his whole alignment is a bit nicer. I think his approach to his anchor point is a bit more smooth than it was before. And also just the extension through the clicker, it's a bit smoother, and the release, as a result of that, the release is also a bit more crisp and relaxed.
But it's the German who's got himself back into this, and 9 and 2 10s in that set, looking very good indeed.
Yeah, and a very satisfying roar from the crowd afterwards.
That will bolster him even further should he need it. Florian Unruh brought things level. 2 set points apiece here as Unruh and Garcia go up against each other for the European title of 2022, and it will be Unruh to shoot first.
It's interesting how both of these archers know exactly where that arrow is going as soon as the fingers leave the string. You can see by the reaction in their bow hand, like, oh, this is going to go slightly right, oh, this is going to go slightly left. So it's very cool to see the level of feeling that they have in connection to the bow.
A little bit of a wobble there just before we released that.
Yeah, but the moment of release itself looked very crisp and very controlled. So I think the wobble was already remedied by the time they released the string.
Fascinating. This is, I mean, it's fast, but the quality is so high. Great shot there. You get an idea of just how much movement there is. It doesn't look like much, but it makes such a big difference 70 meters down the range. And 8 has opened the door here as well for Garcia, and 9 will put him back in the lead.
Yeah. What a shot.
Found the middle of the target very, very well here. Ominous, that particular set from a Florian Unruh point of view, because Garcia looks absolutely dark in the middle.
Yeah, I think he shot 8 9s in a row, or maybe 7, and then just shot 2 X's from there on out. So if he continues this streak, then Florian is in trouble. But yeah, I think Florian is also shooting well. He just, that last arrow, he had a little bit of a pluck on the string, making his arrow go right in the 8.
We're going to get a good look at a close-up of this.
Yeah, so Florian has a very deep hook to start with, and then while pulling back the bow, it seems as though the string kind of slips into the first joint of his fingers, where it comfortably sits. So you can see when he starts pulling back that his fingers kind of slide a bit. And then when the clicker goes, you just relax your fingers, and the string will open your fingers automatically. So rather than thinking I need to open my fingers as fast as I can, you just let the string open your fingers for the best release and the best consistency.
Well, the Spanish contingent here getting right behind Miguel Alvarino Garcia. The German crowd getting right behind Florian Unruh. It would be a magical performance from him if he was to come from behind and take the European title here in Munich. Shoots first in set number 4.
Yeah, you can see that nice deep hook on the string. And it's a bit counterintuitive to have such a deep hook, because you think the string has to, pass more finger to be released, but it does allow you to have a more relaxed forearm, and therefore it's easier to relax your fingers and letting the string go. So there's always a balance to be found, but typically it's at the first joint of your fingers.
The clicker going off.
9.
Another high 9.
Yeah, it's not a bad shot, but Miguel is absolutely on it.
Yeah, it's not a bad shot unless you're standing next to Garcia from Spain. The form archer of this season, you have to say, at the moment, and he's hit another 10 here. This could be over very soon. Unruh, I think, needs at least a 10. I know you can't get more, but he needs a 10 to make this sporting. He drifts off. I think that probably will get marked as a 9 for a 27. So an 8 is all that's required for the European title.
To win.
Bang in the centre. And he has been the form archer of the season, and he's seen that through. Miguel Alvarino Garcia is the new European champion, and Spain can be proud of a man who has, by his own admission, ramped up his work rate. He wants to be at the top of the game, and he's getting there by taking this European title.
Yeah, and how deserved. I mean, he didn't get out of the gold once. He just started off with 7 9s and then ended with 5 10s. It's all he needed to do.
And the payoff, the fact that he's talked about, over the last 2 years, he's just worked out a little bit harder, a lot harder, he said, because he thinks he can make it at the top of the game. To have this kind of affirmation of taking the European title is incredible.
Yeah, and it's just one more title and one more championship win in his book. So
fabulous stuff from Unruh as well. He was coming together as that match progressed, but it was just it was too little too late basically in the end, as Garcia improved from 9s to 10s. A great way to finish this European Championships. Canales and gang in the crowd cheering him on. Superb performance from Alvarino all season, and there's still a bit to go. There's 2 more High-End Archery World Cups, a World Cup final. He's got a bag load more to win this season if he wants it.
And he's definitely going to the World Cup final, as he has secured a place by winning the first stage. So yeah, it's going to be a good one.
And look what it means to him. Fabulous performance from Miguel Alvarino Garcia from Spain. He is the new European champion.
End of this competition, of this European Championships.
Unbridled joy as well. Delight for the Spaniard.
Es lohnt sich auch deshalb, weil wir noch was schön Lautes für euch zum Abschluss vorbereitet haben.
Warm congratulations from the Spanish coach. And of course, acknowledging the equipment as well.
He seems a bit in love with his bow.
Quite right too. It's taken him to a European title. What a performance from him. He's been performing so well for so long now that he's going to be giving some other people some headaches. That's for sure. Some of the top guys.
Yeah, and it's really nice to see that.
Well, let's go and find out what he has to say about winning that title.
Miguel, congratulations, European Champion 22. That sounds great, or?
Suena campeón de Europa 2022, suena grande, ¿verdad?
Sí, la verdad es que estoy tirando mejor que en toda mi carrera deportiva, me lo estoy pasando muy bien y en finales como esta con máxima presión lo doy todo y de momento me está saliendo bien, estoy súper feliz.
I'm very happy. I shooting very nice, better than all my career. In a lot with under a lot of pressure, like that final on the European Championship, I do my 100% and I feel so happy.
How was it to shoot in this stadium and in this atmosphere?
Sorry, can you repeat?
How was it to shoot in this stadium and in this atmosphere?
Okay, ¿cómo te has sentido tirando en este estadio aquí en Alemania?
La verdad es que es un estadio súper bonito, de los mejores que tiré este año, por lo menos, y sobre todo con la afición alemana ahí animando a tope y con máxima presión, así que nada que decir y mucho que disfrutar.
Okay, It's the better stadium of the season at the moment. He's very impressive with the all the German people following all the finals, and it's very cool shoot on that condition.
Gold in Antalya, bronze in Guangzhou, now European champion. Is this the best Miguel yet?
Oro en Antalya, bronce en Guangzhou, ahora campeón de Europa. Es el mejor Miguel Alvariño.
El de hoy sí, el de mañana pues no lo sé, esperemos que no.
It's the better Miguel today, but I hope tomorrow will be better.
We wish you all the best and congrats. Thanks.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Words of another true sporting champion and professional. That last question, is this the best you've ever done? Yeah, better today, but more tomorrow. Once more tomorrow. I think that sums it all up, doesn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he says that I might be the best that I have ever been, but I will be even better in the future. That's what he's, I think, trying to say.
And coming back, I was again rudely interrupted by these European champions who insist on having interviews. We were talking about the fact that he is now really right amongst the greats now. Oh, he's competing with the greats.
Yeah, and I think he will continue doing so if he keeps showing this form in competition. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he will be on more podiums.
Well, time for the medal ceremony here for the Recurve men's individual tournament, the last of the action here in Munich, which has provided us with a beautiful couple of days of live coverage of the medal events, which trust me, earlier on this week we didn't expect this at all. The sun has come out for us for the last time here in Munich on this victory ceremony.
Bronze medal representing Turkey, Mete Gazoz.
Well, he's back. The Olympic champion has not been at his very, very best so far. Perhaps, quite rightly, taking a little bit of a break, taking his foot off the pedal since winning that title in Tokyo. But he's back on the podium here at the European Championships. Mete Gazoz with bronze for Turkey.
Silver medal representing Germany.
Well, big cheer obviously here in Bavaria, in Munich, in Germany. Florian Unruh, he started to get better just a little too late in the gold medal match to make it a proper contest against Miguel Garcia. But he'll look back on this moment at the end of his career with a huge amount of pride. Florian Unruh from Germany getting the silver medal.
Gold medal and European champion 2022, representing Spain, Miguel Alvariño Garcia.
Well, he's been European champion in waiting, some would say, since last year. His performances have gone through the roof. A gold medal at the first World Cup of the season, a bronze at the second, and now the champion of Europe, Spain's Miguel Alvariño Garcia. What a performance. Now it's time for him to hear his national anthem.
Please stand for the national anthem of Spain.
Well, there we have it. The medalists in the Recurve men's individual, Miguel Alvarino Garcia taking the gold from Florian Unruh, the German getting a silver medal on home soil, and Olympic champion Mete Gazos from Turkey claiming the bronze medal. Photo ops galore here for these athletes.
Vielen Dank für tollen Wettkampf. Thank you to all archers competing in the contest this week.
Well, congratulations to everyone taking part in this tournament, and to, of course, the German Federation and the local organising committee for putting on a fantastic European Championships.
Einen lauten Abschluss dieser Europameisterschaften. Falls nötig, haltet euch bitte.
As the weather improved over the weekend, we get a final look at the standings for the men. Garcia from Unruh and Gazos at the top of the pile, but you don't have to go too far down to see some other massive names there, particularly Nespoli, and the Germans doing well through Vetter and Visa being in the top 8 as well.
Traditional Bavarian muzzleloader shooters under the direction of Mr. Thomas Ambros. Die Vorderladerschützen, auf geht's.
Well, we take a look back over that session of fantastic archery, Chef, and I've got to ask you, first off, your highlight of this particular session.
Yeah, my highlight has to be seeing my fellow countrymen and women win the gold medal match in the mixed team. That was really special to see.
It certainly was very special indeed. We take a look back at the gold medal match here. A particular standout moment for the Germans with Florian Unruh in there, but Kroppen and also Bauer, who's from Munich, picking up medals, was also very special. But in the end, it was this big man here, Miguel Alvarino Garcia from Spain, who has been working like a demon, taking medals in both stages of the Hyundai Archery World Cup this season, and now crowned European champion here in Munich. And that is the reaction of a man who has been waiting for this title for some time and showing his love to his coach and to his equipment. A warm and gracious hug from his fallen opponent in the final, as Garcia shares the love with the medal as well. Quite right too. A fantastic performance from Garcia of Spain to take the European title. Chef, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here in the commentary box for this competition. And for all of you at home, thank you very much for watching. You don't have too long to wait. In 2 weeks' time, we turn ourselves to the attention of the Hyundai Archery World Cup in just 2 weeks' time. We are going to get a look back, though, before we go, at the highlights of this session, Chef. So I asked you about your special moment. You must have others aside from the Dutch. I mean, Bauer winning bronze in Munich was incredible.
Yeah, and seeing the emotional stuff going on after she won, and her just getting everything in and hearing or seeing all of the crowd go wild for her. Yeah, it's definitely very special.
And it's been great having archery back in Germany, in Munich as well. They've done a fantastic job here.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by the finals venue. It looks very, very professional, and I would say almost to a World Cup standard. So.
Yeah, absolutely, and there are your compatriots. Schlossen, to be fair, had a couple of moments there and was bailed out a couple of times by Rick van der Ven.
Yeah, Rick has done a great job, but also Gabby, after shooting or after having that little bit of a mishap, she still managed to shoot it, and when it mattered most. So it's just really impressive all around.
And this is the the special moment. I think it's got to be up there with one of my favourite moments, having watched archery for this many years, watching Bauer's reaction to winning. Kroppen also a little disappointed, but she got the silver medal here on home soil, so it's been a good event for the Germans as well.
Yeah, and yeah, what is it? 3 events in, sorry, 3 medals in 2 individual events. It's a good tally.
Yeah, it certainly is a good tally. But Gulnaz Koskan taking the title in the women's individual, the glee she showed in her interview was fantastic.
Yeah, she had a certain shine over her. She was really, really happy, and yeah, it's always nice to see people being so satisfied and so happy with their newly won title.
The Olympic champion, Mete Gazos, marks his return to the podium here with bronze here in the recurve men's individual. And there's the winning smile of the Olympic champion. And the Germans got one last opportunity of a medal. Silver in the end for Florian Unruh, as the last accolade here in Munich went to the Spaniard, Miguel Alvarino Garcia. And that is what it means to become the European champion. Absolutely fabulous stuff here. Chef, thank you very much, as always.
Yeah, no worries. I had a lot of fun, and yeah, I'd love to do it again.
We'd love to have you back as well. And thanks to all of you for watching. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time for the Hyundai Archery World Cup Circuit event number 3. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you then.